Hi folks, we've got a Sofirn SF47T to have a look at. One of the latest offerings from Sofirn, advertised as a extreme distance thrower, powered from two 21700 batteries. And as we can see, it's pretty usual, as you'd expect, kind of size and dimensions for that type of light. We've got a 25 watt Osram LED tucked in there with, again, as we'd expect, a smooth reflector. Primarily powered by the tail cap. There's two groupings for it, the outdoor mode and the tactical mode. I've got it set on outdoor mode at the moment. You can choose either of them. And it's a one click on. We can see the battery indicator there, and we can cycle through our low, medium and high, and a double click to take us to turbo. Single press takes us off turbo back to wherever we were, and then for off it's the tail cap again. So you don't really get much simpler than that. I ordered the kit, and in the box we got a little lanyard if you need one. I've had quite a few of these battery chargers from Sofirn, to be honest. They're actually quite decent, and the lead for the charger as well as the batteries, of course. Let's jump in and have a look and see what the manual tells us. Now, by default, you saw there we scrolled through low, medium, high, which we can see there. That's 50 lumens, 300 and 700. Look at the run times: 53 hours, 11 hours, and 4 hours 45. Turbo 1500 lumens, 3 hours 21. That's what you get with those 21700 batteries. I mean, those run times are really, really good. Water resistant, drop resistant, the kind of usual stuff there that you can probably read through at your leisure. A quick point there on the ATR mentioned at the bottom. I've not had a problem with it stepping down. It's quite a big light. It does dissipate the heat quite well. And 1500 lumens in a light that size isn't being extravagant, is it? So when I've been walking around with the Sofirn there, and I've been using the turbo at my leisure and not really had any great problems at all. Power indication there that we briefly looked at on the button, and the operating instructions there in terms of the outdoor group, which is what I've just shown you, and then the tactical group if you want to move to that. Okay, without further ado, let's take it outside and show you some beam shots. Hi folks, starting off with the Sofirn now on high. Let me just put the picture in so you can see where I am. Immediate pressures on, no problem cutting down that path there as they're on high. Let me scroll through on modes and show you this here at kind of close range. And I'm not quite sure how to describe this, but you can see it, and I'll have a go. We've got this kind of central hotspot here, haven't we, and then another one around the outside, and then kind of this peripheral spill. So there's like a 3-tier beam profile on it. So instead of your usual full-blown thrower at this kind of range, we'd just be seeing that tiny little spot in the centre, wouldn't we? But we're not. We've got that 3-tier arrangement. Looking a bit closer on its lowest setting, up one, perhaps even more noticeable now, isn't it? What can I call it? 3-tier arrangement. Outer, central, don't know what I'm going to call it. I'll call it 3-tier. Back down that path again, up to high, and then turbo. It's extremely impressive, that is, isn't it? You can see now that that outer ring, if you like. It's where are we? It's about there now, isn't it? And then we've got our spot well in the distance, and then our outer ring here. Perhaps even more noticeable. There. A little bit of zoom on there to show you perhaps. Yeah, let me get that right so you can kind of see and appreciate what I'm trying to describe. So that central spot there, and then the outer ring, and then our spill. I've not seen a beam profile like that before. It's like we're trying to do a bit of best of both worlds. We're getting some very long range. We're going to say floody. Not quite. Zoom back out again. I don't know. I think you folks will have to decide how to best describe that, and whether you think that's going to be suitable for you. Just have a root around in my pocket. That's usually what you'll get with a thrower, isn't it? No peripheral at all, just that one kind of laser beam. Whereas, let me make sure I'm on turbo, yeah. So a usual thrower there, if for want of better terminology. And then the Sofirn. We're still getting the distance, but we've got that outer spot. Okay. I think that demonstrates it pretty well without me having to try and describe that. It's like a little bit of a hybrid beam, isn't it? Right, let's move on, and I'll get some distance on this spot where I'm at now. Normally doesn't display throwers particularly well, but I think it is displaying the advantage, if you see it as an advantage, this two-tier spill thing. Anyway, I'm waffling on. Let's move along, and I'll get to a different spot. Okay folks, 100 meters. Let me just put a picture of where I am, and then zoom in. As you can see, it's absolutely smashing that distance. That's on turbo. We drop that down to high, no problem at all. Turbo, high. And then, sorry, back onto turbo down the side of this lake. You can see that kind of two-tier spot thing. Really pronounced, isn't it? But it's certainly not affecting the distance on this light. That corner there, let me see if I can zoom in on that for you. Well in excess. No, it's about 200 metres, 210 metres, something like that. I'll see if I can find somewhere further shortly. But as you can see, absolutely no problem at all with that. And it's not getting particularly hot, to be honest, either. And back out again. Back along the side of this lake. Just show you a bit closer again as well. How that two-tier thing really starts to help us there. So we've got a little bit of best of both worlds, I think, in my opinion here, and that we're not chucking everything, not chucking all the available power into a really tight concentrated spot. We have got that outer ring Depends on your personal preference, of course, but I quite like it, to be honest. In particular, that it's not affecting greatly the distance performance. I suppose it might do if I really started to push it, but from here I can't see anything further than this. Okay folks, I'll have another go. I'll try and get the zoom lens on and really push some distance for us. I might fail, so if another piece of video doesn't magically appear in a moment, I've failed and I've gone home, and we'll just have to do with what we've got. Thanks folks. I was really hesitant to put in this next bit, but I'm going to, but just let me explain something first. I was originally using this camera. I took the lens off that I was using and I put this 150 lens on to get myself a nice zoom capability. And I'll just add a picture now to show you where I was. And then I couldn't even see to the far end of that lake, so I kind of put the camera up on a tripod there, went full zoom, turned it on. I couldn't even see on the display what I was looking at. It wasn't until I got home and had a look to see what the results were. And the thing that I was kind of expecting but disappointed with is that on a zoom camera, if I increase that zoom level, I'm going to absolutely kill the light gathering capabilities of the camera. So only but the most brightest torches are actually going to show, in particular at the distance that I've just mentioned. So I think the video shows, yes, it made the distance, yes, it made it very well, but please bear in mind it was considerably dimmer than it actually was in real life because of the zoom lens. Apologies for the waffle. I'll stick that footage in and see what you think. Hi folks, so do you see that bird there fly away? That's as far as I could possibly see, and the light was really bright, but as mentioned, it was being affected adversely by the focal ratio on the camera. But hopefully you can get the gist there that it did make the distance. I mean, I couldn't even see that bridge from where I was, and if there was anybody walking across that bridge, they'd have probably been wondering what on earth was going on, much the same as that little bird that you saw fly away right at the very beginning. So hopefully that demonstrates the Sofirn can do the distance. Have a good night.